I have spent a lot of time interacting with Americans and Germans, and yes, I have participated in some very interesting debates too. But probably, if you are from India, you may not like what I have heard from some foreigners about Indian engineers and Indian engineering. Want to know what some of those insulting words are? Indian engineering is a joke. Indian engineers are a joke, and Indians are not intelligent enough. Well, if you are from India, and if a foreigner had tried to insult your country and your people, how would you react? Well, I think you and I should not hesitate when it comes to helping some damaged individuals in the West and broadening their perspective about Indian engineers and Indian infrastructure, right? So let's begin this. I mean, disasters that take place in India often make headlines in Western countries. But on the other hand, why do Indians and Indian media outlets not react to all the tragedies and disasters that take place in the West the same way? Unfortunately, when this happened in India, many laughed at Indians. And when this happened in India, there were people in the West who mocked Indians. But do the Western supremacists and the Western media sharks also react to their own tragedies and their own disasters the same way? For example, as reported here, an attraction at the largest theme park in Germany suddenly collapsed. Now tell me, does this make German engineering a joke? Here, a suspension bridge over a river in southwest France collapsed. So, does it mean that French engineering is a joke? A bridge collapses in Finland. A railway bridge collapses in Norway. And here, a bridge collapses in the UK. So does all this make Finnish, Norwegian and British engineering a joke? And how about this motorway bridge that collapsed in the Italian port city of Genoa? Just take a look at these images of a so-called advanced Western nation and the condition of the so-called modern infrastructure in our European Union. So, may I ask, is it the failure of Italian engineering? In Germany, as reported here, a freight train collided with a concrete part of a bridge. Then here, a bridge collapsed in Bavaria. Then here, a section of a bridge under construction in southern Germany collapsed. Now please, answer me in the comment section. Does it mean that the German infrastructure is a joke? As described here, in Germany, there are bridges that are rotting dangerously and the risk of collapse can no longer be ruled out. And a report by the Federal Highway Research Institute concluded that only 12.5% of Germany's motorway bridges were in good condition. Yes, you heard that right, just 12.5% in good condition. Many bridges in Germany were built in the 1960s and 1970s and were therefore not designed to sustain the weight of traffic seen today. So, how confident are you going to be driving on those beautiful German bridges after knowing this? Well, it seems that German bridges are beautiful from the outside, but severely rotten from the inside. Just like the Western colonial criminal states are, right? And by the way, did the Germany-based overgrown propagandist whose fake content I exposed show you this side of German infrastructure? So now, if you are starting to think that the European infrastructure is a joke, then let me take you to the United States of America, a so-called superpower. According to the American Road and Transportation Builders Association's analysis, 36% of all US bridges require major repair work or replacement. Yes, you heard that right. In the USA, there are 76,600 bridges that should be replaced. And of the American bridges needing repair, nearly 42,400 are rated in poor condition and classified as structurally deficient. Motorists cross these structures 167 million times a day. So, my dear Americans, should Indians say that the American infrastructure is a joke? Here, I would like to recommend viewers to watch this video later, as in this video I expose the ugly side of the Western train infrastructure that they cunningly want to hide from you. Yes, India should take every single incident or tragedy seriously. Yes, corruption, sabotage, human error, all sides should be probed and shortcomings should be tackled. And yes, it doesn't mean that India cannot learn the good sides of the Western nations either. But when they mock India while hiding their own rotten sides, you know, it is not your neutral or balanced coverage, it is just your deceit. And yes, Indians want to and are learning from their mistakes, and yes, on occasion they learn and progress fast, very fast. Indians are rebuilding their nation. Smart cities, bullet train infrastructure, highway construction, ports, upgrading and modernization of the existing infrastructure, and more. Progress can be seen in multiple domains. As observed here, India's national infrastructure pipeline envisages 111 trillion rupees, equivalent to $1.33 trillion of infrastructure capital expenditures from fiscal years 2020 to 2025. Energy, roads, urban infrastructure and railways account for the majority of the program. The pace of construction for national highways has increased sixfold compared with levels from 2002 to 2010. The average speed of freight trains has increased over 50% in the past 2 years, and wait times at ports has fallen by 80% since 2015. India's road network has grown some 40% in length over the past decade to reach 6.3 million kilometers, the world's third longest, according to consulting firm Gavekal. And Indian mines are not just building India, they are also contributing to the survival of the multiple Western colonial criminal states. Yes, as far as Indian talent and the Indian labor force are concerned, from the Middle East to the USA and from Europe to Australia, many regions' economies might collapse or face a panic situation if Indian engineers and Indian talent decide to stay in India. So, dear Westerners, particularly from those countries that are facing an aging population, please learn how to respect those who are rescuing you from your own economic collapse. Tragedies are unfortunate. Tragedies can happen everywhere. One must learn from such accidents, and one must do everything to remove shortcomings. But do you wonder why it seems that in the West they have a special appetite to consume stories that are about Indian tragedies? Well, the consumption of news or stories based on Indian tragedies can be seen as a part of the twisted culture of the Western colonial criminal states. Probably it started during colonization, when their media sharks would deceitfully show how terrible the colonies were and how they needed help from the colonizers and missionaries to become civilized, while deceitfully hiding how uncivilized colonizers were themselves, as they were looting trillions of dollars from some of the most advanced and intellectually driven cultures. So yes, it seems in the Western so-called twisted taste buds, so to speak, there is a special place and a heavy desire for consuming negative stories from India and from former colonies. When things like this happen in India, it becomes a sensational story even in my country. And yes, in Poland, many keep telling me, don't trust Indian bridges, don't trust Indian trains, and don't trust Indian roads. And to be honest, I'm tired of listening to that. But why do they present India so negatively? Well, oversimplification, prejudice, deceitful propaganda, jealousy, hatred and racism, limited understanding, the practice of victim-shaming the former colonies, superiority complex, and more. Yes, there is quite a cocktail of emotions or reasons that contribute to the misleading articles and news coverage about India in the West. Never forget that many Western nations are actually enjoying the infrastructure that was built by money or wealth acquired through the slave trade, loot, and colonization. And in a way, it is so humiliating that today they are not even able to maintain the infrastructure built by the dirty money. But on the other hand, India is rebuilding itself after it was looted, and it is doing it with its hard-earned money. If the Western colonial criminal states have any shame, and if they have any genuine concern for India's infrastructure and for Indian lives that are lost in such tragedies, they should consider returning those trillions of dollars they have looted from India. And with that money, India can rebuild itself faster and can reach the heights in infrastructure, modern development, and engineering that humanity has never seen. See you again.